Welcome to Videorial CD004, CorelDRAW X5 Basics, Creating Artwork for a Letterhead, Part 4. Okay, in this Videorial, we're going to create the little mascot in the bottom left-hand corner of the letterhead, the little space alien creature. So I'll just open up the artwork from the last Videorial, Part 3, and save it as Part 4. File, save as Part 4. Okay, now we're going to position the little mascot in the bottom left-hand corner here. So click the zoom tool, just zoom into this area. I'm just going to create a guide. That's just going to act as a reference point for positioning some of the objects. I'm going to position it at 30. Let's say 30 by 40. I'm going to remove these guides in a short while, but it's just to help me position some of the objects. Now, I'm going to create a circle. The circle must be 12 by 12. So to create a perfect circle with the ellipse tool, if I just click and drag, then it's going to create an ellipse. Now, look what happens when I hit the control button. It constrains it. Okay, so create a perfect circle. Go to the transformation docker. It should be 12 by 12. Click and drag. Now it should be 30 by 40. There we go, perfectly in the middle. Okay, I'm now going to create the eye. Okay, the eye is just very straightforward. It's just an ellipse like that. Again, I'm going to position it roughly at the moment. Then I'm going to create another one. Edit, copy, edit, paste, or Control C and then Control V on the keyboard. Now, if I want to make this smaller, but from the center, what I do is I'll click the. Now remember, I've got the pasted shape selected. I'm going to hit the Shift button on the keyboard and then move my mouse in and out. Okay, it takes a bit of practice, or you could very simply just create another. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just developing another skill. Okay, so Control V to get another copy, and what you do is, let's zoom in. If you hit the Shift button and then start to increase or decrease the size, it will do it from the center point. So I've got the Shift button selected on the keyboard. Okay, I'm going to move that down a little bit using the keyboard arrow keys. Zoom out. Remember, right mouse click to zoom out. Oops. This is the trouble when you zoom in. You sometimes select objects in the background that you don't necessarily see. So be careful. Next thing we've got to do is create some nostrils. So 2 small circles, let's say 0.8 by 0.8. Okay, so Control C, Control V to create a copy and just move it. Remember how we constrained the axis by hitting the Shift button? I'm going to select these 2 objects and I'm going to group them. So we've now got a group of nostrils and I'm going to position them at 30. That means that it's now aligned with the eye and the head. Okay. The last facial feature, the mouth. That's just going to be a rectangle. Let's say 4.8 by 1. Now, I don't want it to keep the properties associated with a rectangle. I want to just use it as a free-form shape. Okay, so I need to go Arrange, Convert to Curves. It's now no longer a rectangle, it's just a shape. Use the Shape tool to select all the nodes, convert them all to curves. Now I'm going to smooth the curves. So every point at which 2 lines within the shape meet, it will smooth it. You see what happens. There we go. Now I'll just zoom in. So we've kind of got a face there, but it's more like an open mouth or a shouty mouth. So I want to just drag this down a bit and then click and drag. That's better. Right, we've got a nice smiley alien face. Okay. Now, the only thing I want to do now is apply a bit of colour. Now, the mouth, the nostrils, and the background of the eye are all going to be white. I need to remove the colour. Okay. The actual eyeball itself, the eye, what do you call it? The pupil. I want to be 100% black. I'm going to remove the line. Now, the line here, just going to select each of these objects. I want to make slightly thinner. So I'm going to go into the line outline pen dialog box. I'm going to make it 1 pixel. Oh, actually, it's too thin. Let's go 0.1 millimeters. It's not made much of a difference. Let's go 0.2. That's better. Slightly better. Probably just the same as it was before. But either way, we want the black line to add a little bit of definition. Now we've got to do the ears, or the antenna. Okay, now the alien's got a little bump. So what I'm going to get you to do is select the freehand tool, position your mouse cursor just above the head, click once, and then move down to a point just below the head here. Okay, then we want to add another line to extend this, so click on where it says node, click, come out to about here, then click again, come down to here. Okay, now what we're going to do is mirror the object about this point, and we're going to create 1 copy. So we go to the scale and mirror option on the transformation tab, select the tick here, 1, apply. Now I'm going to select both objects, so with this new object selected, shift, select, combine. Okay, they're now a single object, but they're not what's called a closed path. I can't apply any color to it. So you'll see this area here, this angle. If I go in close enough, you'll see these 2 nodes here are not connected. If these nodes are not connected, it's not what's called a closed path. So we need to close these connections. Okay, so just using the shape tool, select the 2 nodes, join the 2 nodes. Now we need to do the one at the bottom as well. Once it's a closed path, what it means is we can apply a color. Okay, there's his antenna. Just going to create a couple of little bubbles to go on the end, his ears. Again, a couple of circles. I suggest you do circles at about, what should we say, 2.5 by 2.5. I'm going to select them and drag them down to the point. It should snap to the node. I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste, place another copy here. Okay, so I'm going to select the 2 ears and the antenna, and I'm going to weld them all together. Okay. One last thing I need to do is this portion of the head here I want to remove. So I'm going to just use another shape to trim that little bit off. So draw the shape, shift, select the head, trim. Now all we've got to do is join the antenna and the ears to the head by welding them. There we go. Okay. Now what we can do is this is okay. This pointy bit at the top, but I want to round it off a little bit. So I'm going to select this line here and convert it to a curve. Same here. And what you'll see is the 2 handles. Now, if I select this node, I can now make this smooth. Okay, and that turns it into a little bump. Okay, almost like it's been hit on the head. That's it. Okay, now this head should be Pantone 382. It's that vibrant colour we used in the last Videorial. Going to turn the border off. Okay, we're almost there with the head now. We just need to create the glass that makes up his spacesuit. Now, this is another circle, and this circle is going to be 18.5 by 18.5 millimeters. 18.5. And I'm going to position that centrally. It should be 30, that's it. And then I'm going to move that down using the arrow keys, and it should bisect, or just cover the ears like that. Okay, the colour of the helmet is Pantone 344. Again, it's another green. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 4. Now, we want to make this transparent, so we're going to use an effect called the lens effect. It's another Docker basically, but it lives in the effects menu. We go lens, transparency, and we want a transparency of 40%. Okay, actually, let's go 45. Okay, so there's his head inside the helmet. We just got to make some shoulders and some fingers. Okay, so I'm going to create just a rough ellipse here. like this. This is going to make up his shoulders. Now, I want to contour the actual head, okay? I'm going to go about 1.5 millimeter outside, okay? You'll see what I mean. We're using the contour docker. Perfect. Arrange, break apart. Remember, objects that are contoured or interact in some way, they're joined, okay? Now what I'm going to use that as is a pastry cutter. So select the outer contour, shift, select the ellipse you've just created and trim. Okay, and then just delete the original. There we go. Now, this shape here has to be Pantone 347. Okay, so 347 I think is somewhere up here. There we go, 347. Now, we've just got to bring the helmet to the front. So I'll select the helmet, order, front of page. Okay, there we go. There's our little spaceman. He just needs to be positioned, really, and then have his fingers applied. So we'll select, you notice what I did, I zoomed out and then clicked somewhere on the page where there isn't an object and dragged. Now I group, and I'm going to position him roughly down here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, remember, if you select an object, or click it once, it will select it. Select it again and it gives you extra options regarding rotate. Now I want to rotate our little man roughly about that point. So I'll move the rotation point. Okay, that's it. Perfect. Now, what we've got to do now is send him backwards. Okay, so behind this effect here. So order, back of page. Okay. Now, one thing you'll notice at the moment is that the drop shadow sits in front of our little character. Okay. Now, I want to change that. I want the drop shadow in the very background. So what I've got to do is create or select this group of objects. Just undo that. Arrange, ungroup all. Okay. Now I'm going to select this portion here, which is the shape and the drop shadow. I'm going to arrange, break drop shadow apart, select the drop shadow, and then order, back of page. There we go. Right, very, very quickly, the fingers. What we need is 3 ellipses. We'll just create one, Control C, Control V. Just move it across a little bit. Control V. Just create very quickly 3. And I'm going to select them all, group them. I'm going to make them all the same color as the body, Pantone 347. Turn off the line. You'll notice they're not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you remember, if you hit Control and select a group, it will select the object. Just use the arrow keys. That's perfect. Right, okay. Now we're ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll just position the fingers roughly where we want them to be. Notice it's snapping to the object or the line. Control C, Control V. I'm going to create another copy for the other side. Move them over like that. Now all we've got to do is rotate them into place. Select the object twice. Select again, rotate. You can tweak it however you want it. Right, that is our little space alien mascot creature. Okay, that's the end of this Videorial. In the next Videorial, we'll put some text in here, which is the name and address, or the address of the company, and the little slogan up here. Okay, thank you for watching.